Welcome, welcome. Another day. As my elder and my cousin, we woke up today.
Savage moving, they pick and choosing how they make the viewing for the live.
That's what made it a good day.
Screwing that heat, the corner shots fired. Like a side by side, rolling down for the ride. Feel the pressure of the thighs, see the haze in them
Nipples.
eyes. I'm coming back with that orangutan, going bananas, penalty cause I got aim with that. You singing hands for your lungs in the back, holy verses hating your soul, give range with that. I've been respecting the homies that got shots lately. They be losing the homies from way back. Can't you see? They been praying to God to get them back.
They're
Nowadays,
flagging.
they be
I'm
shooting
assuming that they're flagging
get
this.
it back, get it
This
back.
for work, I'm
That's
sorry,
how
real
the
quick.
game
I'm
goes,
gonna
kinda
switch
crazy,
off.
but that's just how they roll.
I don't
Can't
care
blame
if
them
I
from
do
what
this.
was taken down the road. They don't mind getting out of line. Do it all to make it go goes. They make those no bread was given for the boasting tripping, going hollow tipping for the roasted heater and fire hitting. Ghost rider show that burner smoke. Okay, settling, moving with adrenaline, meddling. Gotta stay out the way, bringing in the
I would love
meddling,
to go to
pedaling.
this.
Never stop, gotta stay pedaling. Never look back, you made it out, never go again. Gotta make a plan for you and your whole fan. Gotta stay squatted up, you better the whole plan. Better live it up, sending it like next fan. Cause got your back, bringing you through and you're good, man. Damn,
I can't.
you never know what you going through.
It won't let
Probably
me
thinking they
reserve
don't
this
care
event.
for
It just
you.
says
They
go
look
to
at
this.
you like you
Okay.
an animal, but you survived the hood, yeah, that jungle view. I would not be blaming for what you do. Things could be different when got it through. It's never too late for that type of view. You a king, homie, that living proof. Diamond and rough, gotta stay shining. I know
Yeah.
it be tough, but stay grinding when the time comes.
Oh,
And it's
you don't
worth
wanna
the
see
time
that,
and you be
sorry.
waiting for it. It's never lying. Gotta stay strong like you is a lion.
All right. So we talking about today more stop killing game shit. This is gonna be fun.
I have not had many updates on the Stop Killing Games campaign in a while, but this is not for a lack of things to talk about. If you
We
recall
know.
in the wrap up video, I said I don't like doing the
appreciate it.
news on it now unless there's more of a purpose to it. See, ever since we got the signatures on the European Citizens Initiative, I've been more or less following orders from the political insiders who have been assisting us. And it's become much less about getting internet attention and far more about political maneuvering and attention of regulators, that sort of thing. I've been sitting on lots of information because that's what they advised. And now I'm being advised to tell everyone what's happening, or most of it. So on that note, I have lots of updates. Some of it is maybe bad news, but most of it is good news. In fact, let me start off by saying I think we're going to win this. Namely, the problem
sorry,
of publishers
sorry.
destroying
That is great news. What the fuck you mean? That's amazing news.
video games that you've already paid
We're
for.
gonna win.
Now, what I can't say is when or which method will happen first. We have so many avenues in play, and the more I learn, the more I see this could become a quite convoluted path. But the reason I have so much faith in us getting a win is that the law is on our side on this. We could lose 5 paths we're pursuing and still get a win.
Yes. Fuck yeah. I just wish America would figure this shit out.
Let's start with the maybe bad news first. The meeting with the EU Commission is coming up very soon, and we actually have no idea what to expect.
Okay.
Now, what I'm hoping happens is once we've explained what's going on in the games industry and how the practice of game destruction is largely violating EU law, the Commission will realize there's a problem and bring a proposal to EU Parliament, or at the very least clarify existing law on the issue.
I don't
However,
understand
we've
quite
had some events that
much.
could suggest that won't be what will happen. One of the biggest is this will actually not be our first meeting with the Commission. Back in October, members of the initiative were invited to discuss the possibility of getting our issue added to the Digital Fairness Act.
Okay.
Now, I wasn't there, so I'm getting this secondhand, but from what I've been told, it wasn't great. I'm told it felt like the Commission had been prompted with lines from the industry. They apparently kept emphasizing how video games are a living, breathing thing because of constant updates.
That fucking right there. Oh my god. That fucking right there. It acknowledges inanimate and animate, which many cultures have acknowledged, especially indigenous Native Americans, the first peoples. That shit is wild because it understands spirituality. It goes into the description of what is animate and what's not animate. like drums, certain drums for ceremonial purposes, trees, the world, the life, the mother nature. It goes into it, but it doesn't tie it back. They just ignore that fact. Sorry, I digress. I like that word.
Oh, yeah, that totally doesn't sound like an expression the industry came up with.
I'm gonna go grab a
Though
water.
I admit, that description pairs well with the Stop Killing Games movement.
Okay.
I'm pleased with how the organizers responded to this, explaining that your phone receives lots of
comment that.
updates also, but if software support ends, you still get to keep your phone. They were also concerned about this preventing new games from being made, specifically teenagers in their bedrooms creating small games.
Yes.
Now, my first thought was, oh yeah, all those teen solo developers creating live service games. You may as well be worried about discouraging teen lawyers from opening up law firms out of their bedrooms. I mean, the vast majority of developers, let alone teens, are not making live service games, especially the kinds that create the most problems in the industry.
Okay.
But then it hit me. Wait a minute. I actually can think of a teen who made a live service game. Nelson Sexton made the game Unturned at 16 years old.
Good for
It's
him.
intended primarily for online play and receives frequent updates. There are many who would define that as a live service game. Oh, but what's this? It already had private server support? So he was never part of the problem in the first place. So this exact and very rare scenario that the commission is concerned about has already happened. And if our initiative had existed, it wouldn't have interfered with him in any way. Everything would have still been fine. And it wasn't small either. It's had 24 million players. So a 16-year-old was able to figure out how to do this in 2014, but major publishers worth billions just keep struggling with this concept. I'm having a flashback here.
It's impossible.
Nelson Sexton.
I was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Though a developer does not have to be Iron Man to not destroy their game. On the contrary, the vast majority of them don't do this. A publisher has to go out of their way and do lots of extra work to design a game to stop working when support ends. It's a very deliberate decision. Also in the meeting was our old favorite talking point. The commission was concerned that we were asking for endless support from publishers. It was explained, no, we're not. Publishers can end support anytime they want. We're asking that they don't also destroy what they've already sold to the customer when they do so. I don't blame the commission for needing clarity on that point. The industry keeps trying to push this mischaracterization of us over and over and over. Anyway, there were mixed opinions on the meeting, but I'm told the overall vibe was that it felt like the commission was trying to find reasons to not include our initiative, which is unfortunate, since I'm told by EU staff that we set a record in the number of comments received by the public on a pending EU act.
Feedback 4325. Sorry, I'm reading this real quick. I just feel so passionate. I wish I could sign it. Don't have many friends in the EU. Let's see here. Oh, I will say, I don't know if he would. No, I don't think he was. He used to play Xbox with this guy named it was like Big Ben, Time, and he had a picture of the London Clock Tower. We were on Xbox 360. That's when Justin wouldn't get on to play Modern Warfare with me. He was like, I'm doing stuff and whatnot. This person would play Modern Warfare 2 with me all the fucking time. I was so happy. So fucking happy. And that's when I was decent. I just wish I had some gameplay to prove that. I got only oral records for that shit. Back to this. Hereby provide.
For trying to be included in the Digital Fairness Act. Additionally, if you look at the purpose of the Digital Fairness Act, look at what it says it's trying to address. According to the European Commission, the effectiveness of EU consumer protection is undermined by insufficient enforcement, legal uncertainty, increasing risk of regulatory fragmentation across member states' national approaches,
That's a lot of big
and the
words.
lack of incentives for businesses to aim for the highest standard of protection.
I'm sorry, wait. Increasing risk of regulatory fragmentation across member states' national approaches. Okay. The states do not increasing risk. It's to cover their ass. Yeah. Okay. No, I get it. I get it. All right. Yes. The lack of incentives for, but this is talking about their states, not my state. Sorry. I like to use a lot of analogies to relate to things. It's better for me. The lack of incentive for businesses to aim for the highest standard of protection. What the fuck?
That perfectly describes our
Okay.
problems with how the law is currently functioning in regards to publishers destroying games. And part of the act is even focused on video games. So yeah, I'm missing how our issue is a poor fit for the Digital Fairness Act. But it wasn't just that. The meeting kind of bled over into the Citizens Initiative also. But the real closer came at the end, where the Commission told us point blank they are pursuing a deregulatory agenda. And yes, the initiative is asking for regulation. So if the Commission has already decided it wants to deregulate, I could see where that might be a problem. Now, ironically, after the meeting was over, I'm told some legal experts involved came up to the organizers and said to please pursue this issue because it's worthwhile, and it is a fight that needs to be fought. See, stuff like this is exactly why I have no idea which way the Commission is going to go on this. More on that point, this next part gets weird. On
Sorry for
July
just kinda
10th
like
of last year, back when we were still
tracing
collecting
his
signatures for the
face.
initiative, the EU Commission released a statement titled Ready Player EU.
Yeah, he's a
It
handsome
then
ass
took
man.
it down the
Don't matter.
next day
little
so
hairy,
fast
but,
there
you
wasn't
know.
even time for Wayback
Some
Machine to
people like
archive
that,
it.
you know?
I never even got a chance to read this article. However, a reporter for news outlet Euractiv did, and you can see the headline for yourself. Commission preparing token gesture for angry gamers and game developers. The EU Commission is preparing a non-binding communication on the video game sector, likely in response to an ongoing citizens' initiative calling for rules to stop killing games. What's more, in the article it says a spokesperson blamed a technical glitch, but said full publication is planned for 2026. Huh. I'm honestly not sure what to make of this. And the
I'm not either. I'm still a little confused, I'm going to be honest. It still feels like, well, at least, I don't even want to say at least, but they're doing their homework. The enemy in this, the Spetsnaz, are doing their work right now, and they are trying to find any option to get to us or undermine what we're saying, and we just keep coming up with better examples. I'm more confused on like past cases or legality stuff. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back a little bit. EU Commission is preparing a non-binding communication on the vector video game sector, likely in response to issues calling rules against companies. Yes, so we do. What I get from that is big corporation crying because little guy found more little guys to be like, hey, we don't like how you're doing this. That's what I got from
I'm
that.
honestly not sure what to make of this. And the political insiders helping us aren't either. Or rather, they're divided. Some say that the Euractiv article misread it, and this means nothing. Others are saying, no, that article is reading between the lines, and the EU Commission has already decided to make a non-binding statement on this issue, probably encouraging the industry to self-regulate. Well, I feel like this goes without saying, but in case it doesn't, self-regulation from the industry is not a good solution for two big reasons.
It's not.
Probably more, but I can think of two. First, the practice of publishers deliberately destroying games with no expiration.
I want to go back to that. So many YouTubers, so many non-YouTubers, Twitch streamers, politicians, just regular Joes. Like the world has been acknowledged that this is something that needs to be acknowledged. I hate to say it like that. Before he
Two
even
big
goes,
reasons.
the two big reasons. One, you fucked up. Two, you stole me dime. like, come on now.
Probably more, but I can think of two.
If we could stretch this so far that if this is the case, if we end up getting a ruling, they can figure out a way not to do it, but do we deserve reparations? Yes.
First, the practice of publishers deliberately destroying games with no expiration date that customers have already paid for has been going on for at least 13 years. Battleforge is a notable example of one of the earlier ones from
Never heard of it.
2013. So the industry has
That looks
already
cool.
had over a
That looks fucking dope. I gotta save that tab. This wasn't about. I wasn't looking for that. That was about Native Americans in the Pilgrims. They were saying that the first 50 years of Pilgrim interaction should outweigh the rest, and that in itself is kind of. You write a book in the 1600s, and people use that as their own word, kind of like rewriting the Bible. I'm going to ignore that Family Guy shade real quick. I was talking about Battleforge. I think that was called Battleforge. And this is why Stop Killing Games needs to... Is this it? It is it. Is it? The graphics just from screenshots are pretty fucking decent. I'm going to be honest. There's a Battleforge 3. The Indian Generals. No, I don't want that. Let's look with the community. Let's talk about Battlefield. What happened? Really love the game. It was truly unique. Unfortunately, I spent $10 on in-game currency 2 weeks before they announced their... I did not even... Okay. If you want to look that up, we're going to look that up. I don't want to go into that rabbit hole that just proves my... Yeah.
decade to self-regulate. And that's led to the situation becoming so bad, that's what led to over 1 million people petitioning the EU Commission about it. And they're still going. Hell, at the time of this video, Anthem got permanently disabled by Electronic Arts just last month. It sold 5 million copies, and now no one can run it again. And people are not getting refunds. This is what industry self-regulation looks like. We're living it. So we've already tried it this way for over a decade, and it's getting worse. That's why we want law enforcement. Believe me, I was hoping the industry would solve this themselves. I don't want to be doing this. Second, the industry has built a history showing it's terrible at regulating itself on this issue. I refer back to my earlier video where...
Sorry. Why the fuck would I watch this video if it didn't mean something to me, money-wise, or just video games in general, just like a passion and whatnot? You can't ignore something, like, yes, you can happen on something, but you're searching for something already. I wanted this not to happen, where we had to fight the companies that make or publish the games. When I was younger, I was happy with all of this. And then you did things to Mirror's Edge and things to all the games I love. And I don't know what to do. I can go the insurance route and chase you down, but I'm not going to do that. Gonna be honest. I just want to play games and show my future children games and play Portal with my lady, you know?
where volunteers did a study examining as many games as they could find requiring a connection to the publisher. Well, we've since updated those results on the
Only
wiki
700.
anyone can check out. Out of over 600 games with
They
this
better play
design
games
that the
themselves.
industry has ended support on, the publisher let the customer keep their purchase about 4 to 6% of the time, depending on how you measure it, due to some games only being partially destroyed. But let's take the most generous interpretation and say it's 6.5%. That's
Graphs are
terrible
nice.
under any standard. If you scored 6.5% on a test, that would be a failure. Self-regulation is not working. So I don't know what to make of this leak by the EU Commission. But if that Euractiv article is true, then I admit that caught us off guard. Because that means the decision was already made before we even got a chance to present our evidence. We were still collecting signatures. I mean, if you look at the European Citizens Initiative process, that's like taking the absolute final step of the process and moving it up to step 3 here. Well, if that's what's happened and the decision's already been made,
How is that
wouldn't that
allowed?
make the other steps pointless?
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of an old Onion video about the election results accidentally being leaked before the election. Oops. Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying that's what happened. I don't know.
And all
I'm
we can
saying
do is
having
relate
this
in
leak
America
during
because
the
we live
height
in
of our
America.
signature gathering was weird. And that Euractiv article only increased our concerns about whatever the EU
opinion
Commission
of
has
someone
planned.
dealing with this is
Now, I'm
crazy.
hoping this is all just us worrying about nothing, but I've seen this issue get ignored again and again long before the Commission ever heard of it.
I need to watch more information on this from other like streamers or content creators because it's funny. It's I like amusement. I'm sorry for using the word funny. This is really sad. Everything going on in the world, especially, harming children. But this right here, you're gonna mess with the main people that you advertise, and now you're messing with everyone else. They can't even fight back. They don't understand this. So us as gamers have kind of related to this so hard that we're trying to protect our kin and our gaming friends and kin too, because
So I'm kind of biased to
the world
expect
is
the
filled with
worst here.
relationships.
I'm just showing everyone why we have concerns. The meeting might not go well. So that's the maybe bad news. There's a lot of good news. Because we don't know what kind of answer we're going to get from the Commission, we're trying not to take any chances.
Does he have silver
Thanks to
eyes?
volunteer
What the
help,
fuck?
we've been making serious inroads in EU Parliament.
Look at his eyes.
And at this stage, I've been told we have majority support, and our issue will be brought before Parliament, and it's in a good position to get passed. Now, EU policymaking is quite complex, so there are more steps beyond that, but that's good news. Next, the movement as a whole will be launching an official NGO on the issue of game destruction. Now, if you're like me, you may have some skepticism on how much this can do, but there are definite advantages. The first is this will allow us to do long-term counter-lobbying on this issue. I mean, we're hoping to get the Citizens Initiative passed or added to the Digital Fairness Act. But if those fail, there's still the possibility of being added to the Digital Content Directive revision. We're trying to find a way in any way we can. This will also signal that we're not just going away on this issue. I mean, I might. I've been at this for over a decade, but the movement isn't. If there's a lobbyist showing up again and again at the EU Commission, that might influence things. This will also allow for more watchdog action. Like if you recall, I helped organize a multilingual site with easy-to-follow instructions for reporting on the crew to Consumer Protection.
We're still using that. I'm gonna make another video, recording probably the rest of my reaction to this. But I want to say real quick, shout out to Joyce, but most importantly, shout out to Russ. Thank you for updating us. This is important. What we want. I'll go in that with the next video. Watch the next video if you can. I hope you have a good day. Bye.